Hi there, my name is Sandra Cherry, and I would love to talk to you today about a project that I've been very passionate about, and I've put the last 10 months of my life into researching numbers and getting more information to share with you today, right before the Mother's Day weekend. This project I have dubbed the F.A.M.i.L.Y. Project, and in my project, the word family stands for families are many involved in loving you. I'm sure you can all agree that that's true. So, being a single mom of two children with a considerable age difference between them has given me the chance to see firsthand the many changes in the schools and educational curriculum of Vancouver, BC, Canada, the city that I have called home for the last 28 years of my life. Most noticeable are the upgrades to technology in the schools. I remember when schools got their first hardwired computers. They were at that time considered a luxury item. But eventually they were replaced by laptops, and now iPads are replacing the laptops in a continuous effort to stay current with the rapidly advancing tech times. I also remember the incorporation of sex education into primary grades as early as grade 1. Shocking to me at that time, as I only started learning about it myself in grade 6 or 7. There's also now an increased awareness surrounding bullying, with Pink Shirt Day recognized locally every year. There's also increased education about the LGBTQIA society or community, which refers to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or intersex, and asexual orientations. Even LGBT itself has been an evolving abbreviation. So for as long as I can remember, BC's schools have acknowledged the diverse cultures present in our country and our city and celebrate the various traditions and celebrations, including emphasis here in Vancouver on the Chinese New Year and the Indian Vaisakhi celebrations too. A new addition as well is Family Day, now a recognized holiday, yet only created quite recently. It's celebrated in only 6 out of 10 of Canada's provinces, yet it's recognized as a holiday by our schools here in Vancouver. So with all these evolving subjects integrated into my child's school, imagine my surprise when my now 8-year-old son came home from school last year with a Father's Day card adorned by a necktie on the cover. That's when I realized my now 21-year-old daughter brought home an almost identical necktie Father's Day card almost 15 years ago for her dad. The obviously pre-written outline of a poem inside the card left only a single line for my son to fill out using his own imagination. Why his father was the best was left for my son to complete. He had written the words, "You are the best dad because you are the only dad." Sadly, my son, whose father has never taken any interest in his life, had crumpled the card into a tight ball which I found in the bottom of his school bag on the Friday before the Father's Day weekend. This followed a week of unexplainable moodiness, which I suddenly fully understood. I barely slept that night, the image of the crumpled creation consuming my mind. I talked to my son the next morning, telling him I had found the card in his bag and asked why he had crumpled it up. He hung his head and told me that he and only one other classmate had no dad. His eyes were filled with sadness and shame. My heart broke for him, and at that moment, my inspiration was created that began this project. I knew I had to do something, and even though I'm just one person, I hope my research from the last 10 months will attract some support locally, and maybe even internationally, so that the holidays we know as Mother's and Father's Day might be re-examined, and that my idea to instead create a new holiday combining the idea behind Mother's and Father's Day into a single celebration of our love for our parents or parent, whoever might represent that to us. Do you actually know where Mother's Day started? Its history is incredibly sad. It was never even a Canadian holiday. It was originally celebrated for the first time in the United States in 1908. It all began as a campaign to have it marked as a national holiday by a woman called Anna Jarvis. She was a peace activist who wanted to honor her mom after she passed away. Her belief was that a mother was the person who has done more for us than anyone else in the world. U.S. Congress rejected Anna's proposal, though, to make Mother's Day a recognized holiday in 1908, joking that they would then also have to proclaim a Mothers-in-Law Day. Despite the rejection, all of the USA states observed the holiday by 1911. In the year 1914, after a 6-year fight by Anna, an official proclamation was signed by President Woodrow Wilson, designating the date to honor Mother's Day as a national holiday. The date would be the second Sunday in May. In the early 1920s, however, Anna began organizing boycotts against her own holiday that she'd spent years fighting to create. She felt it had become overly commercialized. Her intention was sentiment, not profit, and she was appalled at the commercialization of the holiday. Anna spent her family's inheritance trying to abolish the holiday she had once fought so hard to create. She was arrested, she was thrown in jail, and sadly, Anna died penniless, with no success to end the holiday. Her fears and anger were certainly warranted, as stats that I researched for 2016 showed that American consumers spent $21.4 billion on Mother's Day. In Canada, $492 million was spent on the holiday in 2016. Now, over 100 years since the signing of Anna Jarvis's proclamation, I invite you to take a look at my city, Vancouver, BC, Canada. In Vancouver alone, this doesn't include surrounding municipalities such as Burnaby, Richmond, Surrey, etc., there are 119,840 homes that consist of the traditional couple with one child. Single parent with one child homes equals 62,250, and single parent with two children homes total 27,065. The combination of single parent homes comes to 89,315, not a far throw from the 119,000 plus homes that have the traditional family makeup. These actual numbers from Stats Canada 2016 prove that single-parent homes total nearly 70% of the Vancouver family household description. In the entire province of British Columbia, there are a staggering 125,890 single-parent with one-child households. It seems these numbers rule out the traditional family household of the past. Since 1961, single-parent families throughout Canada have doubled. These stats are proof enough that my son, believing he was one of the only two kids in his grade 1 class without a dad, are likely untrue. Perhaps it's time to update these holidays and really talk with our kids about the most normal thing they know: family, big or small. I feel that there's not enough information being provided to primary students about families and the diversity of them. I think that talking to our kids from an early age might help them to understand and accept each other's differences. No matter who their guardian or parents are, learning about others who have a similar family to them, as well as exploring the variation in today's family, is an important start to eliminating alienation. I really think combining Mother's Day and Father's Day into a single, more modernized celebration makes sense. We could call this day Guardian or Parents' Day. On this day, we would celebrate the person or people who have raised us. It would embrace the more common family household, which is not the mother, father, and child or children that it used to be. The date could be the last Sunday in May or the first Sunday in June, so it falls on a date between the two holidays that we've been acknowledging for over a century. On this day, we would celebrate the person or people who have raised us. I think children should have a choice in who they want to make a card or cards for on this day, as well as the picture they put on the front of it. The card should be filled with love to celebrate the person or people that give them love, whether that's a single parent or two parents or the person or people that represent parents to them. No child should feel like an outcast, believing they're so different from their peers that they feel shame or sadness during these holidays. These holidays weren't even founded in Canada, yet are still celebrated over 100 years later by Canadians in a time that is obviously far from what it used to be. Statistics prove we more often see single-parent households as well as the numerous other combinations of guardians and caregivers that make up today's family. In our ever-changing world, I can think of at least 13 different types of families. This includes a child raised by a single mom, a single father, two mothers, two fathers, a mother and a stepdad, a father and a stepmom, foster parents, grandparents, extended families such as an aunt, uncle, or older sibling, adoptive parents, and finally, the almost extinct mother and father together. I went to visit the grade 2 students at my son's school yesterday to talk to them about families. I hope to do the same thing next month before Father's Day. My ultimate goal is to give kids a greater understanding about the different kinds of families starting at a young age. As I am also an up-and-coming artist, I decided to create a number of different patterns to replace the age-old necktie card. This way, the children can choose a picture for their cards that maybe matches their parent or guardian better. Maybe the person who has done more for them than anyone else in the world isn't a mother. Or maybe it is, and she's the only guardian that provides care to her child or children. So in the meantime, honoring a mother on Father's Day or a father on Mother's Day would make sense, considering that's who provides daily love in our children's lives. Let's help our children to gain a better understanding of each other in what we now know is a whole new day and time for today's family. My son isn't the only child in this city who's being raised solely by a single mother. I hope that this school year he will come home proudly before Father's Day with whatever creation he has made to celebrate the love he feels for me, his mother and only parent. There shouldn't be shame for him. The numbers speak for themselves. So call it what you like. We cannot change the facts. But what we can change is our children's understanding of family, so that eventually normal and different will all be the same. Thank you so much. Please share this video with as many people as you can before Mother's Day so that I can get my message out. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for your support.